with that. So I think there's a good chance we may have something that is at least on the ground right now, or may have briefly touched down and lifted back. But we'll consider that it is on the ground right now. Again, southwest, or excuse me, passing southeast of Harleton. Again, Marshall, this is not a concern for you. Do want to show you what we have going on the bigger picture, though, with these storms coming on through, and they're starting to ramp up. I mentioned earlier in the newscast the environment was going to start to become a little bit more favorable for severe weather to develop, including the possibility of tornadoes. I will still say that a lot of these showers are not well organized, but a few of them are beginning to show signs of rotation. Again, our one here in Harrison County. We've got another one here east of Sulphur Springs, moving into parts of Franklin County, Texas. Again, that's just outside of our coverage area. That one, though, visually confirmed. So that was confirmed by storm spotters. This one here in Harrison County, and Austin, if you're ready, I'll go ahead and let you take over. We just want to kind of zoom back in on this one because this is in our immediate coverage area just to the west of Marshall, and I think a reasonably good chance we may have a tornado on the ground with this. So Austin, let's kind of pull back up the wind velocity again with this particular storm and show you where that circulation is showing up. Again, just off to the east of Harleton, a little to the northwest of Nesbit. So again, Nesbit, this is passing just off to your north and to the west. It is crossing Texas 154 right now. Austin, let's zoom in a little tighter. I want to get you some specific road names, if some of those will start to pop up here. It's already past Airlight Road, Dogwood Trail, but if you're up here towards Spellings Road, again, just outside of Nesbit, near Callaway Road, and I'm not sure what that road is there, River something. It's off the map for us. But again, in the vicinity just northwest of Nesbit, crossing Texas 154, it's tracking towards the Spellings Road, Callaway Road area, again to the northwest of Nesbit. Austin, let's take a look at the debris tracker again. We've been seeing indications coincident with the circulation that we may have something on the ground. Still some signs of that, not real definitive at this point. So it is possible this is something that maybe briefly touched down and lifted back up, but still seeing strong signs of rotation showing up with this particular storm that is moving its way through Harrison County in Texas. So you need to be seeking shelter if you are northwest of Nesbit and up here towards the Jefferson, Texas area. All right, Austin, let's talk, let's pull up the tornado watch. I want to show folks where that is located and what we're going to be monitoring here for the next several hours, where we have that tornado warning there in Harrison County that is within our tornado watch area that goes until 10 o'clock this evening. So in particular, and even I mentioned a few minutes ago in the newscast, I think northeast Texas is going to be the area to watch, at least here in the short term. We might get some of these storms to kind of hold together and make it into parts of southwest Arkansas, so you are in the watch as well. And we're also watching for you folks in McCurtain County, Oklahoma, that watch going until 10 o'clock this evening, with the potential that any of these storms may start to rotate and present at least a tornado hazard as they move through this part of the Arklatex. All right, Austin, let's go back to the radar. I want to show folks the biggest picture first as to what we've got going on the wide view. Also monitoring some other storms. We've got one here in DeSoto Parish. Looks a little interesting on radar. There is our storm. This is a small, compact storm, but still showing signs of perhaps producing a tornado. Austin, let's take another look here in Harrison County first, and then I want you to move me down into DeSoto Parish, and I want to get a closer look at the storm that we have there. This is our storm, really wrapped up here. You know, when we talk about seeing a hook echo on radar, this is what it looks like. And I will say this is a small storm. This is not a big storm. So just imagine if we do get some bigger, more organized storms, what they may be capable of in this environment. But again, indications that we may have a tornado on the ground here somewhere between Harleton and Nesbit. Nesbit, the most dangerous part of this storm, is just off to your northwest. Again, it has crossed Texas 154, lifting to the northeast. It is going to be moving into Marion County. If you are in Jefferson, Texas, I want you to head to your shelter. It will be arriving there in about 25-30 minutes or so based on the current track, and that could bring a threat for a tornado, again, very close to Jefferson, Texas. Austin, let's take a look. Debris tracker as well. I want to see if we're still seeing a signal. Not necessarily seeing a signal of something on the ground, but this storm is looking quite ominous, at least on the radar presentation, with the possibility that it may drop another tornado if it is not already. Let's take a look at the wind velocity again, Austin, and see what's happening here. Very well-defined circulation. Again, the green blowing towards the radar, reds are away. Counterclockwise rotation. That's the way most of these tornadoes circulate. Again, just off to the northwest of Nesbitt. Tracking through that portion of Harrison County, Texas. It is going to be lifting into parts of Marion County in northeast Texas as well. All right, Austin, put it back on the regular radar. And I do want to go over into DeSoto Parish because we're watching this west of Mansfield. That also looking like a storm that may be developing some rotation. So Austin, I want to get a quick look at this. This will be a heads up perhaps for you folks in Grand Cane. We don't have any warning on this, but Austin, let's take a look at the wind velocity. Not really seeing anything showing up here, so maybe it just kind of looks dangerous on radar. But these are the things that when we're tracking storms, we're looking at visual clues. We're looking inside the storm at the actual wind data to give us some indication as to what these storms may be doing. Also mentioning a storm right outside the Weather Service office in West Shreveport, seeing a little bit of weak rotation as well. So that'll be the one here right over the radar site. So we're watching multiple things with these storms as they are gaining some strength. They're getting better organized, the environment becoming a little bit more favorable for perhaps seeing some tornado potential developing out of these. So we're going to watch this one as well, moving through parts of Caddo Parish. Again, that information, the Weather Service is looking right out their window here on the inner loop in 220 area, indicating that the storm, which is right over the radar site and right where the Weather Service office is, also exhibiting some rotation. But again, our one of most concern right now is over in Harrison County. Let's kind of expand the view again, Austin, and I want to talk about the two storms that we have, the one with our tornado warning here in Harrison County, but also just don't want to forget about the one here in Franklin County. This is just a first alert for you folks here, particularly up into McCurtain County, Oklahoma. We're going to be watching this one for you. This one did have a confirmed tornado associated with it, now crossing into Franklin County. Again, this one doesn't look particularly ominous on radar, but nonetheless, there has been rotation with it. So just a heads up, if you are near Talco, I think this may come to you close there, Talco, the northwestern part of Titus County. We've not gotten any new updates, though, on this particular storm other than when the tornado warning was issued. It was because rotation was seen on radar and there was a confirmed report that something had touched down with it. So just a first alert for you folks in Talco. This one is headed your way, so if you are in Talco, I want you to go ahead and seek shelter for, again, the possibility of a tornado. This storm will be moving into Red River County in Texas, just beyond our coverage area, although some of you do watch us up there, up towards the Clarksville area. So just know that this storm's headed your way. And McCurtain County, Oklahoma, if this were to be one that would hold together with the rotation, could eventually make it into that northern part of the Arklatex. All right, Austin, let's get an update on our storm in Harrison County. Again, that's our one of most immediate concern in our coverage area. This one still has that ominous looking hook echo, again in the vicinity of Texas 154. Let's check the wind velocity first, get an update here. There's your circulation, continuing to move its way towards the Harrison-Marion County line. Here's Jefferson. And Austin, let's put a track on this. It is moving off to the north-northeast. Get very close to Jefferson. So again, if you're in Jefferson, Texas, do want you to be seeking shelter for, again, the possibility of a tornado. Austin's going to draw this out for us. May have to redo the storm track there, Austin. But this one's going to be very close to Jefferson. So there's the circulation, kind of tracking it over a wide area, close to Jefferson. May eventually make it into Cass County, but the warning does not include anyone into Cass County right now. There's Kellyville. We mentioned to you a moment ago, around 5:09, so that's when it'll be arriving in Kellyville, and approximately the same time west side of Jefferson, Texas. So if you're in Jefferson, I want you to go ahead and seek shelter just out of an abundance of caution. This storm, or at least the part that is rotating, may pass just west of town, but it's a close enough call that if this storm were to take a little bit of a turn off to the right, which they sometimes do, that could bring it more into town. So if you're in Jefferson, I want you to seek shelter as well. Kellyville also may make it or not make it up here to Prospect. We'll have to wait and see where this storm goes once it makes its way into Marion County, if it continues to hold together. But at least for the time being, still showing signs of rotation and perhaps signs at times that it has touched down. Let's get an update on the debris tracker as well, Austin. Just want to see if we're seeing nothing definitive that jumps out here and catches my eye and says that we have something on the ground. I think we may have had something that briefly touched down initially with this storm, but perhaps nothing on the ground now. But still, we could see this produce maybe another tornado if it has not produced one already as it moves its way into Marion County. So again, if you're near and west of Jefferson, I want you to be headed to your tornado shelter for the possibility of a tornado. Austin, let's go back to the regular radar view here. Want to zoom in a little closer and again show exactly where this is. So we are watching this storm showing rotation approaching the Marion and Harrison County line. This is Farm to Market Road 208. So where FM 208 crosses from Harrison into Marion County, it looks like this is where this rotation in this thunderstorm is going to track as it works its way there off to the north and to the east. Let's see. I'm not sure. We got an update here. Not sure what storm. I think it's the storm in Franklin County. Still indicating some rotation there. So that would be the storm that's going to be approaching you folks in Talco. It looks like storm spotters there reporting that no longer anything on the ground with that storm. But if you're in Talco, they're in the northwestern tip of Titus County in northeast Texas, I want you headed to your shelter as well and stay there until that storm has passed. Again, monitoring this one in Harrison County. No indications of anything on the ground at the moment, but the rotation is still showing up there. Austin, let's go back into northwest Louisiana. Again, there are a couple other storms that we are watching. Watching this one as well, back off to the southwest of Caddo Lake. Again, the National Weather Service indicated this one, which just passed their office there in West Shreveport, showing some signs of rotation. Nothing of any immediate concern, but just an indication that conditions are becoming a little bit more favorable in the atmosphere for these showers and occasional thunderstorms to start rotating as they work their way off to the north and to the east. Let's go down into DeSoto Parish again, Austin, and check this storm. Still has an interesting look moving into Grand Cane. Definitely some heavy rainfall, but as we check the wind velocity, that's the telltale sign. Not really seeing signs of any significant rotation showing up in association with this storm. So that could be an indication, maybe at least close to the ground, we don't have rotation. Maybe the storm looks like that because there's some rotation a little bit higher up. As this storm is continuing to get closer to the radar, though, we're kind of sampling closer to the ground. So that may be why, even though it looks kind of ominous on radar, we're not really seeing anything close to the ground that is of great concern for a tornado. Austin, I'd like to reset the view, just let everyone know what we are monitoring. There are multiple storms coming through. Most of them are kind of concentrated now to near and north of I-20. So all the forecast information was suggesting we'd get kind of these areas of showers and storms developing in East Texas, Northwest Louisiana, everything gradually building northward, probably between now and 6, 7 o'clock tonight. There may be a lull for many areas before we await our next big line of storms that will be tracking its way on through as we work our way on into the evening and the overnight hours. But again, two main storms we're watching right now. The one crossing from Harrison County into Marion County, and then also a tornado-warned storm here, Franklin County. Looks like they're going with this storm, maybe going to let the tornado warning expire at 5, which I believe is how long it went, and replacing it with a severe thunderstorm warning that will take it here into Red River County in northeast Texas. So that is apparently what they're going to do. So it looks like for now, tornado warning with this storm in Franklin County, Texas. Threat has diminished. Tornado is still possible, but instead of continuing with a tornado warning on this storm based on the fact that they have eyes on this one, they're going to let tornado warning expire at the top of the hour and a severe thunderstorm warning continue with that storm as it moves into Red River County. Tornado warning does continue for Marion County now until 5:15. Austin, let's get back in here, take a look at this storm. Again, it is crossing into Marion County, so the warning has been canceled for Harrison County as the storm is out of there. I think some of the radar data is a little bit old. Let's flip it over to wind velocity. I think that may give us a better idea of where the circulation is. There it is. It is still well defined. Again, the reds are blowing away, greens are blowing towards. This is near FM 208. Where that road goes from Harrison into Marion County. Moving to the northeast, this is going to come very close to the intersection, looks like, of FM 729 and Texas Highway 49. Again, very close to Jefferson. I mentioned, though, this would be a close call for you. And I still want you, especially here if you live west side of Jefferson or just off to the northwest of Jefferson here along Texas 42, I want you to be in your shelter for, again, the possibility of a tornado out of this storm. Austin, let's zoom in a little closer here and get some more roads to pop up outside of the major highways. Get some of the smaller streets if there are any that show up. You can see this is just past Henry Road. These are non-labeled roadways, so hopefully really no folks that live along here. I know we've got roads going to various oil fields and things like that here in East Texas, so hopefully that's mostly what this is as opposed to residential area. This is passing just to the northwest, though, of Meadows Cemetery Road. If you're up here towards Coffeyville Road, this is where this circulation is tracking, and I need you to be headed to your tornado safe place if you are not there already. Go lowest level of the building that you're in and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Usually small interior room is going to be your best bet. Looks like another tornado warning coming for north of Tatum, Texas in Harrison County. So we're watching this one. Austin, let's get down there into southwest Harrison County. Tatum, of course, is in Panola County. It is for this storm. Another tornado warning coming out here for this storm from the National Weather Service. So first alert, tornado warning coming here. This black line is the Harrison Panola County line. This is just outside of Tatum, Texas, moving into Harrison County. If you are here from FM 2625 west and near that and where it intersects with Texas Highway 43, I need you to be going and heading to your tornado shelter for, again, the possibility of a developing tornado with this storm as well. Let's put it back on the reflectivity, Austin. On this one, there you see what it looks like with circulation showing up there, again, heading into Harrison County. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit, and I do want to put a storm track on this and let you know where this one is headed. If you folks in Marshall, I think the tornado warning, yes, there it is. It is going to include you. So if you were in Marshall, Texas, this storm near Tatum is headed your way. Possibility for a tornado. It is radar indicated, nothing visually confirmed, but the rotation showing up just like it is in our storm there in Marion County. If you are in Marshall, this one's going to be arriving by 5:27. They just did an extension on that tornado warning there. It appears as well in Marion County, and that one does now extend into Cass County as well. So two tornado warned storms right now in the Arklatex. One that's moved just across the Panola and Harrison County line from Darko to Bel Air to Marshall. You need to be headed to your tornado shelter for the possibility of a tornado with this storm in southern Harrison County. Got another tornado warned storm to the north, Austin. Let's go up there. This one includes parts of Marion County just west of Jefferson, Texas, and this warning has been extended, now goes into Cass County here in northeast Texas. So Austin, let's track this. I think Jefferson, it's probably going to stay just off to your northwest. It will be crossing Texas Highway 49, but if you are up here into Cass County near Linden, this storm headed your way, not included in the warning right now there in Linden, Texas, but it is tracking close to you. Kellyville still going to be there, it looks like, in the next 10 minutes. Prospect by 5:22, and the New Colony area, if it makes it that far to the north and continues to rotate, it would make it there around 5:51. So 2 tornado warned storms now back in East Texas. And we're really going to have to watch all these. Back here to the west of Uncertain, the way that storm looks on radar, interesting look to it. So keeping an eye on that. In fact, Austin, let's just get a look at it and just make sure there's no developing rotation here. And don't really see anything that jumps out right at the moment that would suggest anything of great concern coincident with where that storm is located, but we're keeping an eye on it nonetheless. Let's kind of zoom out the view again, Austin. Just want to show the big picture of what all we've got going on here across the Arklatex. So 2 rotating storms here in East Texas, one approaching Marshall, another one which is likely going to track just to the west and northwest of Jefferson, Texas. Keeping an eye on a few showers and thunderstorms here in North Louisiana as well. One in DeSoto Parish, another one that is moving through parts of Caddo and Bossier Parish. Weather Service here, the one northwest side of Shreveport, they did say they did notice some rotation in the clouds as it passed the office there where the radar is located. But right now that one's not looking particularly organized. So we got the 2 storms that we're watching here from near and southwest of Marshall to near and just northwest of Jefferson, Texas. Up here north, Austin, let's kind of take a view up here. Nothing that is severe at the moment, but some storms continue to get organized south of Hope, Arkansas. We've got other storms that are kind of lined up here from New Boston back towards Mount Pleasant around the I-30 corridor. We're going to have to keep an eye on these. And also we've got a heavier shower that's entered McCurtain County, Oklahoma. This is southwest of Idabel, or southeast of Idabel, a little south of Hayworth and Tom, Oklahoma, there in McCurtain County. And again, a third storm which was tornado warned, but that tornado warning has been allowed to expire, replaced with just a severe thunderstorm warning that does include areas from Talco up to Clarksville. So Talco, I mentioned to you earlier, you needed to be headed to your safe place. It appears the tornado threat has diminished. Still need to be inside, away from windows, center of the building that you are in for a severe thunderstorm and perhaps some strong wind gusts coming in association with that. But at least for now, that storm there that'll kind of brush by Talco and head into Red River County in northeast Texas. It appears the tornado threat has diminished. Let's go back and take a look at our 2 tornado warned storms. Just get another update as the new info comes in. Let's start here in Marion County, Jefferson, Texas. This storm is going to pass just a little bit off to your west. We'll zoom in a little closer here and pull up the wind velocity on this. And there you see the circulation is still showing up strong. Greens are toward the radar, reds are away in this area just off of Texas 49. Austin, let's get a quick look. Debris tracker. Nothing super definitive as it's kind of spread out here. We would look for something a little bit more concentrated. Austin, going back in time here to see how things change. I don't think we necessarily have something on the ground right now, but definitely some strong rotation showing up with that storm. So I need you to be in your shelter here northwest of Jefferson in this part of Marion County, kind of bounded between Texas 49 and US 59. That is where this storm is going to be tracking. Let's go down into Harrison County. Again, another tornado warned storm that continues to work its way up from the south. Marshall, got to be in your shelter. Again, this is right along FM 2625 West. Austin, debris tracker. There's your rotation. Let's take a look at the debris tracker and see what we've got. Nothing super definitive here, but the look that it has on radar does have me a little bit concerned. So again, if you're in Marshall, need you to be headed to your shelter. Again, that's going to be the lowest level of the building that you're in, middle of the house. So interior bathroom, interior closet, interior hallway is going to afford you the best protection. I need you to be headed to your shelter there in Marshall. Let's go back and pull up the wind velocity and want to pinpoint exactly where the rotation is. We'll zoom in a little closer. This is FM 3251 and FM 2625 West. In this vicinity is where the circulation is. Texas Highway 43. Austin, let's zoom in a little closer here and kind of pan to the north. I want to show you what roads are in the path here. Again, this is FM 3251 and Texas Highway 43. So it's going to be tracking right in between these two roads here in Harrison County, making its way towards Marshall, Texas. We are getting reports out of Picton, Texas, which was just west of Franklin County, Texas, of some damage there. And again, there was a report of a tornado on the ground there, which is what prompted that warning in that part of our coverage area. But again, seeing rotation showing up strongly here in parts of Harrison County, again in the vicinity of FM 3251, FM 2625, and Texas 43, just off to the southwest of Marshall. Austin, let's kind of zoom it out. I want to show you where this is relative to Marshall. So here's Marshall. This is downtown Marshall. This is within likely about 5, 6, 7 miles from downtown Marshall. And again, this storm is tracking to the northeast. So this is going to come through part of Marshall, especially the west side of town. So I need you to be in your shelter here. Let's go and get an update in Marion County, Austin. I want to see the latest on that storm. Looks like a tornado warning is also now coming for Franklin and Red River County in northeast Texas. All right, this is our storm passing to the northwest of Jefferson. Let's take a look at the wind velocity. Still seeing strong signs of rotation showing up here. This is right along Texas Highway 49, northwest of Jefferson, Texas. So Jefferson, it does appear this is passing just to your north and to the west. New tornado warning, by the way, that does include Talco. So Talco, I need you back in your shelter. Not seeing signs of anything on the ground here, but strong circulation showing up. So if you're northwest of Jefferson here in Marion County, getting ready to head into Cass County, there's your circulation northwest of Jefferson. So this is not going to come through Jefferson, at least the tornado potential. But as this moves off to the north and to the northeast, going to be approaching probably US 59 right there at the Cass and Marion County line. So if you know someone that's traveling this route right now and they're in the vicinity of either moving from Marion to Cass County or Cass to Marion County on 59, I want you to give them a call and let them know that there is a thunderstorm with a tornado warning and a well-defined circulation that is going to be crossing US 59 there right at the Cass Marion County line. It looks like that is where it is most likely to go. Again, not getting any confirmation on the ground. We're not getting indications of debris being lofted into the air with this storm, but definitely some strong circulation showing up here. Let's take you up into Titus County. I want to get a look at that storm, since again the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning on it due to the fact that spotters have reported near Mount Vernon a tornado back on the ground. So that is why tornado warning has come back out on this. Don't have a good look here at the wind velocity, but again, if you're near Talco, back here towards Bogota in Red River County, Texas, need you to be headed to your shelter. Again, this is just outside of our coverage area. We kind of take a little skip here between Titus County and McCurtain County, Oklahoma, but I know there are folks that watch us here in Red River County in northeast Texas. So again, from Talco to Bogota, this storm is going to be crossing US 271. I want you to be headed to your safe place there as this storm moves on in. Let's go back to the one near Jefferson. Austin, I want to take a look at the debris signature. Weather Service indicating that they're seeing a debris signature showing up with this now, perhaps in the vicinity here of FM 729 and Texas 49. So again, that's where our circulation showing up right now, and the possibility that we do have something on the ground here now just to the northwest of Jefferson, Texas. So I mentioned this one a moment ago. It's going to be crossing 59 right along the Cass-Marion County line. So I need you folks that live in this part of Marion County, if you are, there we go, there's the latest update. So yes, it appears something is on the ground here northwest of Jefferson. Let's zoom in a little tighter here. We'll kind of pinpoint exactly where this is. Hopefully a fairly rural area. There are some roads though here though. Liberty 2 Road, Private Road 7728. Liberty Road, Old Mill Road. Again, it appears we have a tornado on the ground here in Marion County in northeast Texas, moving its way into Cass County. So you need to be in your shelter outside of these areas. Austin, let me go back up to the north here And I want to show some of the other roads here in the vicinity of US 59. So if you live here, might need to zoom in a little closer. White Oak Road, Story Road. I need you to be in your shelter if you're not already there. Tornado appears to be on the ground northwest of Jefferson. It is tracking towards these roadways just off of US 59 in Marion County. Again, White Oak Road, Dressen Road. Need you to be in your shelter for a likely tornado that appears to be on the ground here northwest of Jefferson, Texas. Let's get back down into Harrison County. And we've got multiple storms that we're trying to keep up with and keep you first alert about. But again, north of Jefferson into Cass County, need you in your shelter. This storm is beginning to approach the southwest side of Marshall here in Harrison County. Still showing a hook echo, which basically it's called a hook echo because it looks like a fish hook. That's a visual cue for us looking at the regular radar, which shows precipitation of a rotating storm. When we see that, we go in and we look at the wind velocity. So Austin, let's get a look at that, showing you that we still have circulation. This has crossed Interstate 20, approaching the intersection of FM 3379 and US 80 here, west side of Marshall. So again, if you are in Marshall, we'll say from downtown to the west, need you to be in your shelter. Again, our storm north in just outside of Jefferson, Texas, appears to produce a tornado. This is in the same general area, so there are concerns that maybe this could drop a tornado as well. Doug's in the studio with me. You've been making some calls. What you got, Doug?
49 and confirmed damage. My mic just came on. Texas 49 and at Kellyville Road. Kellyville is right off of 49, just to the north and northwest of Jefferson. So again, exactly what the radar is showing. It is on the ground. They've got spotters in that area. They say it's on the ground. Again, debris damage along FM 49. This actually puts it into the Kellyville area. I just drove through that area last week. So just northwest of Jefferson, the Kellyville area along FM 49 along Kellyville Road. There is confirmed damage, debris, and responders moving out toward that area.
All righty. Thank you, Doug. Keep us posted as you get more information. We mentioned Kellyville on that storm track. In fact, Austin, let's do some extended storm tracks here as well, just to give other folks in the path of the storm a heads up as to where it is going to be headed next. Again, and so it's moved through the Kellyville area, working its way to the northeast. It is going to be heading into Cass County here in the next few minutes. Probably going to pass a little east of Bear Creek, but close enough call there once you're in your shelter. Linden, Texas, not in the warning area, but I want you to be headed to your shelter in Linden as well until this storm has either fizzled or passed you by. If you're here from Lanier down to Pruitt, Prospect, again right along US 59, heading from Marion into Cass County, I need you in your shelter for, again, the possibility that we may continue to see a tornado on the ground. Doug, what you got?
Again, familiar with that area, just drove through there last week. That's where the Kellyville baseball park is. So I don't know if, I know some folks thought, hey, the storms aren't coming into 11, we can get in a night of baseball games. So that is directly where that community ballpark is. I drove right past it. Remember seeing all the lights there just a few days ago when I went out to Hugh Springs and came back. So that is specifically in the Kellyville ballpark area. Honestly, pray to God there's nobody out there thinking they can get some baseball in before the big line of storms comes in. But again, damage again confirmed there in the Kellyville area off 49 at Kellyville Road.
Okay, thank you, Doug. I'm checking here. Just some pictures coming in. I only want you to send us pictures if you can do it safely. But we did receive some pictures from off the inner loop, 3132 loop. This is what the National Weather Service was watching a little bit earlier, showing some lowering of the clouds. We're going to keep an eye on anything that may form in northwest Louisiana as well. But again, most concern here is our storm moving through Marion County outside of Jefferson. It's going to be passing just east of Bear Creek, but working its way to the north-northeast. This may get close to Linden, Texas before it is all said and done. It appears tornado has touched down in this part of Marion County near Kellyville. Tornado warning does continue for Harrison County as well. So I want to get back down to that one. Again, between Jefferson and Linden along 59, head to your shelter. Still watching tornado warning storm that includes you folks in Marshall, Texas, here in Harrison County. Need you to stay in your shelter. This one has also a possibility to produce a tornado. Austin, let's take a look here. Latest wind velocity. We're seeing the circulation near West Houston Street. Let's zoom in a little tighter and show you exactly where this rotation is showing up. Again, this is moving through the west side of Marshall. I don't want you to go out and taking a look at this, but this is where the circulation is showing up right now. The vicinity of US 80, FM 3379, which turns into West Houston Street, Harleton Road, Heinsohn Springs Road. So again, the west side of Marshall. This is where this circulation is showing up, going across US Highway 80 right now. Of course, downtown Marshall over here, so this is going to miss the downtown area. But if you're on the west side of Marshall here, Houston Street, Ward Street, Harleton Road, not sure what this one says. It's kind of covered up a little bit, but it's going to be going through this western edge. Let's see, Norwood Street. So Norwood Street, Goforth Road, Heinsohn Springs Road, Houston Street. I need you to make sure you're in your shelter on this west side of Marshall. This is where we have the circulation showing up and the possibility that this could drop a tornado. We're not getting indications of that right now, though. Let's take a quick look. Debris tracker. It is moving through, again, an area in the west side of Marshall that if there was something to be seen on the debris tracker, we would see it. Not seeing that, so at least for now, indications that there's not something on the ground here. But as this moves through the west side of Marshall, I need you to be in your shelter for the possibility this could drop a tornado as it moves on through. Austin, let's kind of expand the view again. I want to take a look at a couple things. First, the bigger picture, what we've got going on. And we've got 3 storms in our immediate area that we're watching. The one here moving into Cass County. Linden, not in the warning. I need you to head to your shelter, though, until this storm is passed. Possibly the warning may be extended deeper into Cass County than it is now. To another tornado warning that does include Red River County in northeast Texas from near Bogota. Also includes Clarksville. Need you to be in your shelter. This one we did have spotter confirmed tornado on the ground. This one also confirmed tornado with the debris tracker and even a visual sighting as well near Kellyville there in Marion County, Texas. And again, our other storm here, which is moving through Harrison County, also rotating, could produce a tornado. None of these storms are particularly large. These are fairly small storms, but sometimes it doesn't matter how big or small the storm is. If it is tapping into the environment that is conducive for rotation and for tornadoes, it can produce a tornado. Monitoring some other areas as well. The storm that passed through West Shreveport had a lowering on it and at least a little rotation. That one is lifted north through Benton. Not seeing indications that that one is of an immediate threat. And I'm still watching here in DeSoto Parish. Storm which passed through Grand Cane, now coming through Stonewall. Still showing some indications of maybe a little rotation with that. Yeah, Doug. Let's go to Doug.
Real quick, over here on the touch screen, if we can bring that up here on camera 3. We've got that, just real quick, I'll get right back to because we're actively tracking, but this is what was just sent in to us, 445 along LA 3132, the inner loop in Shreveport. That's what the Weather Center, the National Weather Center out near the airport, just looked out their window and could see it. They saw the lowering. Obviously, it just moved on. It's no longer a threat in this area, but just wanted to see it. If you can see it at home, I'll zoom in. But that does look rather ominous when you're looking right out your driver's window and you see this lowering. You can clearly see it come down kind of like a stovepipe shape there. We can't see beyond the horizon because of the highway there, but there's the visual to go along with what you guys were tracking not even 15, 20 minutes ago right through the heart of Shreveport.
Yeah, and Doug, and if you refresh the page, we just actually got a new picture in out of Frierson, Louisiana. This would be down in DeSoto Parish. With a storm that is passing through there.
Yeah, this one even looks even, you can see that. I'm going to get back to that Frierson, but there's another good look at what just came through town. Don't know if I'm going in the right direction or not.
Go back the other way.
All right, go back. That's all I got.
Yeah, refresh at the top.
Yeah, refresh at the page at the top there.
All right, you're going to make me do this live on there. I'm trying, guys. Okay, here we go.
I just approved it, so it may take a moment for it to show.
That's probably why it wasn't showing up there.
Okay,
so, that's the one that was near Grand Cane earlier?
Yeah, that's the one that
had that hook on it?
So it's a lowering. That just someone sent in a picture of a lowering there near Frierson.
All right, if I get it up, I'll let you know. It's not popping up.
Okay, all right, we'll continue to watch out for that. And I do want to encourage you, but minimally encourage you. The pictures help us tell the story. So if you can safely take a picture of either the storm or the aftermath, that helps us out tremendously. You can upload those pictures via our news or weather apps. The weather app, it's easy. You scroll all the way down on the home page on the app. The very bottom thing is where you can upload your photos. Again, that helps us, but I only want you to do it if you can do it safely. All right, so we're watching some storms here. Benton to Stonewall. No warnings on these. Let's go into Stonewall, though, real quick, Austin. I want to take a look at, see if we have any circulation showing up here in the lower part of this storm. We're looking down fairly low as the radar is just right up here on the west side of Shreveport. Don't see anything that's jumping out at me that this is of any concern right now, at least in the lower part of this storm, but we're going to continue to watch it. Let's take you back over into Harrison County and also up into Cass County, where we do have our 2 tornado warned storms. Again, the one moving through Marshall right now, this one's passing just now northwest of Marshall. There we still see the circulation showing up well defined here, or crossing Texas 154. If you remember, our other storm that's moving into Cass County passed on through 154 just northwest of Nesbitt, and then our other storm continued to head here into parts of Cass County. I will say this storm, at least let's pull back up the wind velocity on this one, Austin, kind of has lost that rotational signature, at least the level of the storm that our radar is currently scanning right now. So this one may be the tornado threat diminishing. We hope, as this one we're fairly confident just based on the debris tracker and also some visual reports. We may have had a tornado touchdown near Kellyville there in Marion County, but at least this one here, looking at the wind velocity, we're not seeing that circulation. We're not seeing any greens showing up opposing any red colors here, which would indicate continued rotation in this storm. So perhaps the threat has diminished. That warning, I believe, was supposed to expire at 5:30. We'll see if it's continued. Let's go down here northwest of Marshall, Austin. Want to take a look at the velocity and then also the debris tracker on this one. Let's see, tornado warnings continuing here this is for another one? Or this is for the, no, this is for the one near Marshall. So tornado warning has been extended on this storm. Here's our wind velocity. Your circulation is showing up just northwest of the center of Marshall, moving to the northeast. Austin, quick look at the debris tracker on this one. Don't have anything showing up, at least on this latest update, indicative of anything that is on the ground, but still well-defined circulation showing up. Let's actually track that now. For you folks in Marshall, this storm is pulling away from you. For you folks in Jefferson, though, tracking towards you. The new tornado warning does include, basically it's a pretty long track. This includes the remainder of Harrison County north of Marshall. It includes Marion County, and it also includes parts of Cass County. So this was going to be tracking again towards Jefferson. So Jefferson, another threat. This one may have more of a potential impact. The other one did pass just to your west and northwest. This area rotation, again, coming out of Marshall, may come a little bit closer into town. So if you are, first of all, in Woodlawn, you got about 10 minutes before this arrives near Woodlawn there along US 59. You're in Jefferson, Texas, you've got about 20 minutes before this area of circulation makes it to Jefferson. So Woodlawn to Jefferson needs you to be headed to your safe place, lowest level of the building that you're in. I need you to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We do have a report here, a Skycam out of Marshall, of a rotating wall cloud. So at least a camera mounted here, not indicating a tornado on the ground, but indicating a wall cloud, which is often a precursor to a tornado. And that was actually those pictures that Doug was showing you, maybe what we were seeing there on the west side of Shreveport. It's a lowering of the cloud base. That's what a wall cloud is technically defined as, and sometimes they do or do not rotate. This one apparently rotating, visual confirmation of that, and when you get a wall cloud that is rotating, that can often be a precursor to a tornado touching down. Again, we don't have reports of that right now, but it is something that we're continuing to monitor, which is why from Woodlawn up to Jefferson, I need you to be headed to your tornado shelter for the possibility this may end up producing a tornado. In fact, Austin, let's take a look. Debris tracker again, that often is our key to something on the ground, and right now not seeing indications of anything on the ground, at least from what I am observing here. Let's expand the view again. I want to show the folks the big picture. We do not have widespread severe weather occurring. We have some isolated small storms that are spinning. We've got the one here, again, tracking out of Marshall, moving its way off to the north towards Jefferson, Texas. Our other storm here doesn't look like a whole lot on radar, moving through Red River County. So I'll be curious to see if that is continued, because obviously there's a big difference. We're looking at two different storms from the same radar. This one, nasty looking just to the west of McCurtain County back towards Hugo, Oklahoma. The one here in Red River County, Texas, looks nothing like that other storm. So curious to see what will happen with this one. Similar story, our tornado warned storm here approaching Linden, Texas, really appears that it is falling apart. Hopefully that's a trend that will continue. So again, I think our most immediate concern is the storm which is tracked now out of the Marshall, Texas area, but headed towards Jefferson, Texas. Also going to watch, we'll take a closer look at that storm in Cass County as well. Austin.
The Storm Prediction Center, they are on the call with the National Weather Service in Shreveport. They're about to extend, or they're on the call to extend the tornado watch downstream. Wanted to remind you where the tornado watch is currently, and it does include portions of southwestern Arkansas, and where we are looking at some tornado warnings, some of which have produced tornadoes that at least have indicated and have been observed touching down for some times. So once we get that extension on that tornado watch, which is coming in just a few minutes here, which will include the rest of southwestern Arkansas, Sevier County, Columbia County, Miller County, all of those counties are going to be included, along with Shreveport to Farmerville. So a good portion of the rest of the Arklatex, especially right in the center of the region, is going to be put under tornado watch in just a few minutes. They just essentially have to draw the polygons and hit the button in just a moment or two. That is from the National Weather Service. Going to be keeping an eye on these storms all night, and it's already proving to be a bit of a busy one. Jeff?
It is, and Austin, I think the reason why they're extending the watch is just to take into account these storms that we've been mentioning that haven't produced any severe weather, have not produced any warnings, but just because the showers and thunder showers have developed a little bit more into northwest Louisiana, lifting to the north. So the new watch just takes into account the fact that we do have a storm here moving out of DeSoto Parish into parts of Caddo Bossier, a storm that has passed through Shreveport, did maybe produce a wall cloud earlier. So as these continue to come north, they'll arrive in areas in not just North Louisiana, but southwest Arkansas, where tornado watch not currently in effect. So that's just to take into account that. Let's see here. So the warning does continue for Red River County.
They're concerned with it
Yeah.
overshooting, which at this distance from the radar is a possible concern.
Yeah, so that is a possibility. So these storms, even though this doesn't look like much, maybe at this distance, the radar beam is actually overshooting the storm. These storms that we have here in northeast Texas are not very tall compared to this one near Hugo. This one's a beast. This one is super tall. Tornado warning is on it. Do just want to give you folks in McCurtain County a heads up. Now, there is a tornado warning on this storm near Hugo. There you see the latest update between Hugo and Fort Townsend. We might get a warning that does include part of McCurtain County. So I want to give you an early first alert on this one. If you over here towards Millerton, Wright City, perhaps we'll get a tornado warning for that part of McCurtain County coming from this storm. This one is a much more powerful storm. This one likely capable of producing some large hail, very large hail perhaps, in addition to a tornado threat. So the storms that we're seeing here and just outside of the Arklatex are of a different beast than what we have going on locally. However, what we got going on locally can also produce some brief tornadoes, just based on the overall setup of the atmosphere. With that said, Austin, let's go back into northeast Texas. Want to get an update on our two tornado warned storms. Looks like the other one they allowed to expire, so our storm, which did likely produce a tornado, near Kellyville, has fallen apart as it's moved here towards the Bear Creek area. This one a little closer in than the one there in Clarksville, so it would be unlikely that the radar would be shooting over the top of that one. So that warning was allowed to expire. Keeping an eye on this storm too in southeast Cass County. There's no warning on it, but let's zoom in a little closer and then we'll get you an update on our storm coming into Marion County. This is located just outside of Atlanta and Queen City. There in Cass County. Austin, let's just take a look at the wind velocity, see if we're seeing any rotation here. Nothing that is particularly alarming with this particular storm, but we're going to keep an eye on that one as well. All right, let's go back down to our storm, which is just south of Jefferson, Texas, here in Harrison County. Still seeing this one north of Marshall, showing signs of rotation as it moves northward towards Jefferson. Let's take a look at the wind velocity and see where the rotation is located. It's still here. Again, the greens are blowing toward the radar. You get into the pink, the yellow, and the red blowing away counterclockwise. Circulation showing up here. This is approaching US 59. The Harrison County, Marion County border is very close to where this is going to cross. And again, the trajectory on this storm, the path it is taking, is going to bring it looks like, almost across Jefferson, Texas. So I need you to be headed to your shelter if you have not done that already. If you are in Jefferson, this is still a strong signature of circulation showing up with this storm as it approaches Jefferson. An update on the storm there in Red River County. This is from a storm chaser, one I personally know, and he says that storm near Clarksville, at least visually to him, looks like it is dying. So even though they extended the tornado warning or kept the tornado warning going on this near Clarksville, you know, one of the concerns was radars overshooting it, but a storm chaser up there says, really, from what he's seeing, that storm is dying. So this may be a warning that is end up canceled. But again, if you're in McCurtain County, I think you have less worry about this one near Clarksville and more to worry about the storm that is back over here now moving into the Fort Townsend, Oklahoma area, as this may impact parts of McCurtain County with a tornado warning coming up as well with that one. Another update, new tornado watch coming out until midnight. So we'll have to see what all this entails. If it's just an extension in time of our current watch, or if it is going to be a new tornado watch that includes some areas not currently being covered. Doug, what you got?
Add to that Marion County tornado, confirmed again that it touched down Kellyville area. Just talked to them. They've got trees down, power lines down. It seemed like it was just a brief touchdown, perhaps. It wasn't on the ground very long, but they've got a lot of people without power. I think they have Upshur Rural Electric out there. So they were telling me they're going to be without power for a while. Again, that was that storm, what, half hour ago, 20 minutes ago, to the northwest of Jefferson and the Kellyville area off of Texas 49, that it touched down right in that ballpark area. Remember, I mentioned I was worried that kids would be out there trying to get games in. Texas Independence Day, so there were no games scheduled. So thank goodness for that. So nobody was out at those ballparks when it came through that very area at the Kellyville ballpark area. They're off 49.
Okay, very good news to hear that. So again, yes, appears we did have a tornado touchdown there. Fortunately, hopefully no major damage, but just a little bit. Some trees down and power lines down. Okay, we've got, if y'all could tell me what this is in my ear that we're looking at, or one of us. Okay, this is over Jefferson, Texas. This is maybe from the storm earlier, the one that went through Kellyville. We do have another storm that is bearing down on the Jefferson, Texas area with some circulation there. And we're also, I tell you, we don't have a warning on this one, but I do want to mention for this storm just outside of Atlanta, Texas, just the way that it looks on radar. And Austin, let's take a look here at the wind velocity in this. I think we are finally starting to see maybe a little rotation associated with this. Again, the greens are toward the radar, reds are away. So just outside of Atlanta, Texas, there is circulation on this storm moving off to the north and northeast. This will be coming close to you folks in Bloomberg, Texas, there just outside of Atlanta, Texas. No warning on it, but just want to give you a first alert. Perhaps a tornado warning may be issued in association with this storm. Quick look at the debris tracker, Austin, just to make sure that we don't have anything of any concern. Not really seeing that, but this storm has the look of a rotating storm, and looking at the wind velocity in it confirms that there is some circulation with this. So just a heads up here, this isn't going to go through Atlanta, Texas, but if you are in Bloomberg, Texas, this storm is headed your way. I want you to watch it closely. We are going to be doing the same. All right, Austin, let's go back down south of Jefferson and get an update on our storm here near Jefferson. It is moving into town right now. Let's take a look at the wind velocity within this. Still seeing circulation. I will say the rotation appears weaker than it did when it was passing just outside of Marshall, but still there nonetheless, approaching Jefferson. So this is going to be going right over Jefferson, Texas. So I need you to stay in your shelter if you are in the path of this storm there in Jefferson. I need you to be staying in your shelter. Monitoring some storms. One near DeKalb, Texas. This is one of the storm chasers that's out there who's doing a great job giving us some visual information. You can only see so much with the radar. It helps to have someone actually looking at the storm who can do it safely. He is indicating a storm near DeKalb, Texas appears to be getting better organized, so we're going to be watching that one as well. But again, if you're here in Jefferson, this is our tornado warned storm. It is going to be moving through town right now. Rotation does appear to have weakened, but it's still there, so I need you to be sheltering in place there in Jefferson until this storm has passed. All right, Austin, let's kind of reset the view. I want to see some of these other storms that are being mentioned here across the area. Looks like the new tornado watch just came out. We'll get that to you as soon as we get the details on it. Mentioning a thunder shower here near DeKalb, Texas, getting perhaps better organized, so we're watching it closely. Again, our storm here near Jefferson, even here on the radar view, not looking quite as ominous as it did. So we're seeing a couple things here. The radar presentation not as well defined, and the rotation is not as well defined. So hopefully those two in tandem maybe means that at least for the moment, this storm is going to pose less of a threat for a tornado. Tornado warning is out forthcoming for McCurtain County in Oklahoma. I believe that's for the storm towards Fort Townsend, Oklahoma, as it moves its way off to the east and the northeast. So new tornado warning will be coming for this storm. It's probably going to, for sure, I think, include you folks in Wright City, maybe down to Millerton. So just a first alert heads up, because this is just to the west. If you're here in Wright City, you need to be headed to your tornado shelter. We're expecting that tornado warning momentarily from the National Weather Service. We did get a report here from just a few moments ago of a rotating wall cloud near Jefferson. Rotating wall cloud near Jefferson. So again, that's our tornado warned storm here in Marion County. Again, it's continuing to not look as concerning on radar, but nonetheless, at least a report of a wall cloud. Of course, we had that. We got a report of a wall cloud as well when it was near Marshall, Texas. Circulation showing up here close to FM 2208. Just outside of Jefferson, Texas. So Jefferson, I still need you to be staying in your tornado safe place. Austin, let's go up to McCurtain County. The warning has been drawn up for that storm. I want to get a closer look at what we've got going on with that particular storm and what areas are included in that warning.
And this is the storm that was producing, at least radar indicated, producing a decently sized hail. That was popping up real bright on the radar. I am concerned about the distance from the radar site, but we can see right over Fort Townsend that there appears to be some rotation. Would you agree with that, Jeff?
Yeah, I would say that's where it's located. And again, that warning does include parts of McCurtain County. Valiant, you're included. Wright City is included. Idabel, Broken Bow, you are not included, but just north of Broken Bow, just outside of Broken Bow, if you're up toward the Hochatown area, this storm may be tracking towards you as it moves its way into McCurtain County. But right now, the most intense part of this storm is near Fort Townsend, Oklahoma. tracking towards Wright City and again near Hochatown and points northward. So if you are in those areas north of Millerton, north of Broken Bow, need you to be headed to your tornado shelter for the possibility of a tornado coming out of the Fort Townsend, Oklahoma area into that portion of McCurtain County. That storm is that one's a biggie. Again, the storms that we have here in the Arklatex, they're very shallow. They're not what we would call deep storms. They don't extend higher into the atmosphere, but there is enough spin in the lower part of the atmosphere now that even those storms that are not quite as robust as this one is are capable of rotating and producing some brief tornadoes. Fortunately, those tornadoes are likely going to be on the weaker end of the tornado scale. This one, though, could be a different story moving into McCurtain County. So again, from Wright City to Hochatown and points northward, I need you to be headed to your tornado shelter for, again, the possibility of a tornado coming out of the Fort Townsend area. I'm not sure if there's any visual confirmation on this storm, but this one is definitely a strong one. Also probably some very large hail with this one. Austin, actually, let's take a look at the hail tracker and show you what we have going on with this one. And this has produced some very large hail. This is kind of looking back at the hail over time, the hail track. I think we can, there's a product where we can see the instantaneous hail. There it is, right over Fort Townsend. So this is also going to produce some very large hail. All right, let's get you back. We got a lot of things going on. Just kind of run through the warnings, or let's go over to you. It looks like we got an update on that tornado watch. Let's go to Austin for the latest on that.
Yeah, Jeff, they released, or they were telling us about this tornado watch a good few minutes ago, but they have been clearly very busy with the other tornado warnings that they have been dealing with. So they have extended this tornado watch to include pretty much everyone along and north of I-20 in the Arklatex. So that will be Columbia, Hempstead, Howard, Lafayette, Nevada, and Union counties in Arkansas, Bienville, Bossier, Caddo, Claiborne, Lincoln, Union, Webster parishes. That will go until midnight tonight, this tornado, pretty much extending entirely across northern Louisiana and extending a good ways into southwestern Arkansas. So with the environment that we're seeing, and with these storms popping up, beginning to pop up, these are those isolated, discrete supercells that we were concerned with happening right at this time. With them beginning to pop up, beginning to rotate, they have decided to extend that tornado watch. The tornado watch that was previously present, if you can picture that, remember that in your mind, has not been extended time-wise. It is still set to expire at 10 o'clock, but at this time, really, expiration dates do not really need to be discussed in depth, but a lot of people, lots of Shreveport, Bossier City, obviously Texarkana, lots of population centers now under tornado watch, and we're going to be keeping an eye on all of these discrete, isolated thunderstorms that keep popping up in the Arklatex. And I can take a look while Jeff is situating his max that is behind him. We can see some of these storms, and again, we did have at least that lowering in West Shreveport that we have pictures of, that was near the National Weather Service. And none of this is really indicative of tornadic activity or even severe thunderstorms, but it has that possibility. The environment is susceptible to that possibility. And with the sunshine that we've seen, we know that the environment is rather unstable. So again, tornado watch extended across pretty much the entirety of the Arklatex, I-20 and north under tornado watch, some until 10, most until midnight tonight. We're going to be keeping an eye on these storms at least through that time, if not even later as they progress, and especially as the line approaches, which we have been discussing in great detail over the past few days. Jeff?
All righty, thank you, Austin. I do want to take you a little bit through the forecast information. I do think that tornado potential is maybe diminishing a little bit with some of these storms that we've been tracking, but do want to show you kind of how things are expected to evolve as we take you through the rest of this evening. We've got the showers and thunder showers here in northeast Texas, McCurtain County, Oklahoma, some activity building out in northwest Louisiana into southwest Arkansas. So this depiction is fairly close to what we are seeing on radar right now. But let me march you through time. This is not going to be the only threat of severe weather that we see through the evening hours. Here's 8 o'clock this evening. Most of the action should be around and north of the I-30 corridor at this point. And then this is what we're watching as we take you later into the evening hours. A big line of storms. It's already starting to take shape to the west of the Arklatex. And this is eventually going to spread in here later on this evening. I will say one of the trends we've seen is that this line arrives later into the evening than it previously looked. The longer it takes for this to get here, perhaps a reduced threat of severe weather associated with it. You can see this latest forecast data suggesting that line, which at 8 o'clock is pretty stout to the west, kind of starts to break up a little bit as it moves into the Arklatex. And that trend may continue, although still some storm development takes place through the midnight hour across portions of the Arklatex. Keep in mind that new tornado watch goes until midnight, but it does appear that as we head through the late night hours, 1, 2, maybe 3 in the morning, we're gradually going to see the severe weather threat diminish here across the Arklatex. So this is not something that's going to last all night long, but maybe lasting a little bit later than what we had originally expected it to do. So something we'll continue to watch, and especially that line, we're going to be watching how it holds together as it comes towards the Arklatex, working our way through the evening hours. Doug, what you got for us?
We were talking about the storm moving into McCurtain County. I was watching a live feed over here, a tracker that was in Fort Townsend, I think just west, and there was a funnel cloud. You see the rotation in it. So it's active. It doesn't seem to be menacing and on the ground, but the tracker that I'm following here, there in McCurtain County and near Fort Townsend, you can clearly see it moving, rotating, and he's in hot pursuit, so to speak. So I'll be able to hopefully continue to give updates on that when we have eyes on that storm.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. We're maybe watching the same person. I don't know, Doug, because I've been watching the live feed as well from well-known storm chaser. They're tracking stuff. Originally, he was in North Texas, but looks
maybe
like
the
he's
same
now in southeast Oklahoma as well.
And Jeff,
okay.
real quick.
No, tornado warning coming out. Okay, let's get to that. Austin, I'll let you drive radar. Tornado warning coming out for Caddo and Bossier observed. And that's my phone.
And there goes.
Okay, so this appears to be right over maybe downtown Shreveport.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Austin, I'm going to let you drive here. Let's talk about this. We got a storm that's developing here right over downtown Shreveport. Austin, let's take a look at the wind velocity, just kind of pinpoint where this is. Again, this is observed. Let me see what the Weather Service is saying. Over Bossier City, moving north at 30. So right over Bossier City, maybe here in the vicinity of the Teague Parkway on that side of the Red River. Austin, just a report from a Weather Service employee that this passed through LSUS, blowing out some windows at LSUS.
I got video of that just now. I've got the same video.
Okay, Doug's going to try to get that for us. Austin, let's go in here. Let's take a look at the warning first. I want to see the warning area. It looks like it probably this storm near downtown. We're having a tough time seeing it here. Let's pull up the debris tracker. Maybe that's going to help us pinpoint this a little bit more. Nothing that's real definitive here. But again, a tornado warning has just come out. This is from an observed tornado, not something that the radar was picking up. So I think that's why we're having maybe a little tough trouble seeing it. But if you are here from the Red River on the Shreveport-Bossier line through Bossier City, need you to be headed to your shelter for, again, this was an observed tornado over Foster's. I'm not exactly sure that location, but that is what the warning is pinpointing here.
Now they've just got word that people inside Highland Hospital, they're putting them in the halls, taking shelter.
I'm going to step off here. I want to try to pull up some of our cameras. So we've got some cameras here Austin, I'm going to let you take over while I'm getting these cameras situated and see if we can visually see something with this storm.
Yeah, the video I'm looking at is actual rotation. It was over a parking lot at LSUS that was just sent to me. I'm trying to turn it around right now. But you could see rotation. It was kind of pulling things into the air as it was moving its way pretty close to the river corridor there.
So this is getting difficult to see on our wind velocity, but the warning area, just so everyone knows, obviously Shreveport and Bossier City in that warning area, Shed Road, Clyde Fant Memorial Parkway under that warning area. This goes to the north and east. Eastwood in the warning area, Red Chute. Lots of heavy rain associated with this storm right now. And we'd have gotten those reports of some windows blown out at LSUS, Louisiana State University in Shreveport, trying to find where that rotation is. And unfortunately, it's very close to the radar site. The radar site's just right around here, so it's getting difficult. There's a lot of noise here. It's getting difficult to see where that exact rotation is.
And also getting told that...
You're on.
Is it on?
Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear.
I'm not hearing myself. My button was pressed in my ear. Sorry about that. Being told power's out, so we obviously have power lines that are down. Uri Drive, Burt Coons area. Emergency responders are moving into that area. Again, this is very close to LSUS. I just got the video in-house. We're trying to get it on air a minute ago. Again, it didn't look menacing at the time, but nonetheless, you could see it was rotating, and obviously it's brought down power lines and knocked power out.
Okay, and we've got our storm tracker out now, headed in this direction. These are a couple live views. This is over in Bossier City, John Harvey Toyota Skycam. This is located at Benton Road and 220. You do see some ominous-looking clouds here moving through Bossier City. Not seeing anything definitive here, though, as far as something on the ground. And I will say, this one came out of nowhere. We're having trouble pinpointing a velocity signature on radar. It could be because maybe something briefly touched down. Sometimes the radar can be so close that unless there is something on the ground, it's not going to be detected in the wind velocity just because it's looking maybe underneath where there is circulation in the storm. So we may have had something that touched down briefly. Here's another vantage point looking from our studio back towards, well, there's downtown. So this is looking just a little bit off to the east and south of downtown across the Red River. You see the ominous clouds here. I don't see anything, though, that looks like a tornado on the ground, but certainly some lowering in the clouds here. So if you are in Bossier City, really anywhere from central Bossier, from I-20 northward to 220, and even to the north of there, I want you to head to your tornado shelter for, again, the possibility that something may drop out of the clouds. Again, we just had the tornado warning came out very abruptly, saying an observed tornado. Here's the update. A tornado observed off Burt Coons and Shreveport that moved through downtown Shreveport. Confirmed by video. Confirmed by video. And that's all the info that we've got. Again, we're not seeing anything. Again, the view here, I'm going to continue to keep an eye on this, but this is a storm coming through Bossier City right now. Like I said, sometimes you can be too close to the radar. Sometimes you're too far away from the radar. Sometimes you can be too close to it. This is likely the storm. We've actually got two cells here, but I believe this one, just based on where it would have tracked from near downtown to the north, is the one where the Weather Service had video of a tornado, even though nothing triggered on the radar. We've got basically there's protocols on the radar. This is a lot of times how the Weather Service issues warnings, is something will get triggered whether you're looking at it visually or maybe you miss it, but then something will trigger on the radar that will say that there's a high risk of a tornado developing, and even that did not happen with this. But this is our storm moving its way through the North Bossier area. Likely the circulation, if we still have it here, is going to pass right between Benton Road and Airline Drive. So if you live in this part of North Bossier, we're talking about the New Green Acres. We're talking about up here towards the Vanceville Road area, Wimple Road area. You do need to be in your shelter for, again, the possibility. We only got one visual confirmation of this.
Hey, if we've got a second,
Yeah,
I've got somebody on the phone right now I can talk to that was, we're trying to get the video on air, who saw it right out his windshield. LSU on the campus, he was on the campus. Jeremy Enfinger on the phone with me. Jeremy, what did you see? And this was about, what, 15, 20 minutes ago?
About 10 or 15 minutes ago. Yeah, I saw a funnel cloud and a lot of debris in the air. That's what I saw.
And this was right, and the video you sent me is right there in the LSUS parking lot, one of the many parking lots there, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it just, you whipped out your phone, you shot it, did it lift? Did it seem like it continued moving on in a certain direction?
It seemed like it was in the air when it got to LSU. Right now, there's a lot of emergency vehicles over here on Uri Drive.
You're still in that area then?
I'm still in the area, yes.
All right, Jeremy, thank you, sir. Again, that was Jeremy. He was, I know we're looking at that image, that Piermont, the Willis Knight Piermont, very close to that same area where it touched. In fact, LSU's right behind that area. So that's really a good look at what may have touched down right there in the LSUS campus area.
Yeah, that's definitely a funnel. Maybe just quickly developed and touched down. This is actually part of the same storm that we were tracking, that we had talked about. One in DeSoto Parish that said we were watching, but we weren't getting any significant signs of circulation. So this may have been something that just quickly dropped and now is gone. This is the wind shear product where we're kind of tracking out either some strong wind or some circulating wind over time. And you can see this really, it kind of stops here right in the area where we got those pictures and that video. And nothing is really showing up beyond that. Again, that's the previous. I can take a look here at the current wind shear. And we're really not seeing anything showing up. Maybe just a little blip there. Let me zoom in a little tighter. This is over here towards 220 and an Airline. So maybe that was the last little bit of some rotation. Let me pull up our cameras again. I'll show you the John Harvey Skycam first and see if anything on it as we continue to look here. Definitely some ominous clouds, very heavy rainfall coming through with this. But as I flip the camera around,
Here's another look. I know it's off camera, but this is somebody just across the river from that same area.
yeah. So what Doug's showing me, very small, very quick touchdown, it
At
appears.
6:10. It would have been right, well, no, at 5, maybe his thing is off. Maybe it's 5:10.
Here's our storm. Again, some ominous clouds, maybe some lowering of the clouds. A little hard to tell if there's any circulation in the clouds from this vantage point, but this is the storm. So this is what came through, and it looks like it produced a brief, very, very brief tornado across parts of southeast Shreveport, and then came through, is still in the process of coming through Bossier City. Pull up our KSLA Skycam as well, looking off in the same direction. It's got a little bit of a farther view, and there you can see the dark clouds off in the distance. But again, nothing that I'm seeing right now visually, because this is the same storm. So if this were going to produce maybe another quick funnel, we'd see it. And right now we're not. Definitely a well-defined cloud base, maybe a little bit of lowering there. But it appears we had a brief tornado touchdown there in southeast Shreveport. So these are the two cells we're continuing to watch here. This one out 20 towards Red Chute Racetrack, and this one moving through the North Bossier area. But again, it may be at least no immediate tornado threat out of this. But I still want you to be in your shelter here from North Bossier, we'll say up to Benton. Just to err on the side of caution. We're not seeing any indications of any debris. I mean, this is moving over a very populated area in North Bossier, so something on the ground would be showing up here for sure. In fact, let me go back in time.
We do have video when you're ready. We can show what it does briefly.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to that. Doug, I'll let you talk over it while I'm looking at some more data here.
All right, I'm being told. Here's that video I was talking about. This was at the LSUS campus.
There's a tornado right here above us.
And that's Jeremy Enfinger we just talked to there. I don't know what part of the rotation that is. Maybe you guys can kind of look to the top of your screen there. You can actually see it's kind of got just a small debris aloft. But this is what, there's a second video we're going to get on air here shortly, the one I showed you off camera a minute ago, Jeff. The same storm, that would look to, and this is what we just saw from that other picture we showed, what, 5 minutes ago on the air. But that is what apparently, at least part of that funnel cloud,
the next video.
Tornado that eventually took down power lines and knocked that power to a lot of folks there in that, I guess that would be Uri Drive at Burt Coon.
All right, thank you, Doug. Let us know when we get that other video. So there are the two storms that we're monitoring here. So we did get an update from the Weather Service about the possibility of two storms. Here in Bossier City. This one may be wrapping up a little bit. This was the original storm that I think produced that brief funnel, located here between Airline Drive and Benton Road. You still need to be in your shelter here from the North Bossier area up towards Benton. But this one now looking a little bit more ominous when we talk about a hook echo. We are starting to see that. So here in this North Bossier area east of Airline, we may get another brief tornado that may be produced out of this. Right now, if you're in the vicinity of Horse Guards Avenue, Swan Lake, over here, I believe that one of the Tiburon, this is over here off of Swan Lake. Doug, if you can help me out. I believe Tiburon, one of the neighborhoods over here off of Swan Lake.
Yeah, that
north of
Stonebridge. Basically, we've got Stonebridge, the golf course, Tiburon, as it goes north of 220.
So I want you in your shelter here, north of 220. This is Swan Lake and 220. So these neighborhoods over here in this part of Bossier City, I want you in your shelter. This storm perhaps could produce another quick tornado. Again, we've got the little hook echo here, which is an indication of the circulation. I'm going to pull up the wind velocity. There's a little something right here, Let me zoom in a little closer and show you exactly where that is. But I need you to be in your shelter. This may produce a brief tornado. May not necessarily be a strong tornado. The setup that we have right now with the storms wouldn't be conducive for a big tornado. Swan Lake Road, Cardinal Road. This is in the vicinity of where we're seeing the rotation showing up right now in the North Bossier area with this particular cell. So I need you in your shelter in this part of Bossier City right now for the possibility this may produce a brief tornado. Excuse me. These are the roads again. Victoria's Drive, Swan Lake, Cardinal Road, over here towards Stockwell Road. The storm is lifting its way off to the north and the northeast. I think this is our most immediate threat for possibly a tornado. Our other storm here, which does continue now up towards Kingston Road. This one's moving north. This one may have been the one that produced the brief tornado in Shreveport before it crossed the river. This storm is not looking quite as concerning as the other cell, but maybe a little rotation here right along Benton Road, right here. Heading north, there's Burt Boulevard, which is where the courthouse is there in Benton. So maybe still a little rotation. So Benton, you still need to be in your shelter. And again, over here off of Swan Lake, near Swan Lake and Cardinal Road, I need you to be in your shelter for, again, the possibility. I think the radar products are a little off. That's what we've been seeing. What we call the reflectivity product is a little bit behind some of the other stuff. So the actual storm, I think, is probably a little bit more to the north here. Let me pull back our John Harvey Toyota Skycam, and we'll take a look. We got that pointed in this general direction, looking off to the north and to the east. There you see the dark, ominous clouds there, but nothing that's really jumping out as a concern at the moment with this storm. But again, if you are in that North Bossier area near Swan Lake north of 220, I need you to stay in your shelter. This does have, again, at least in the last few minutes, I think this image is a few minutes old, but had that look of rotation right in this area, north of 220, very close to Swan Lake. So we are watching this.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, Doug.
I'm getting pictures coming in. I don't have permission to use them yet, but it looks like significant damage along Uri Drive. Looks like a business, missing half the business is gone. Gas station looks heavily damaged. This is going to be Uri Drive right along the LSUS corridor, right in that area. I'm looking at some pictures that are just flooding my inbox here of pretty significant damage.
Yeah, and we've gotten some more that have come in here as well that I just approved that we might be able to pull up here in the next few minutes near 220 and Airline. Again, this is the storm, but again, the radar is a little old. I'm not quite sure why the radar is not updating.
As of a minute ago, it was 8 minutes old. It updated at the top of the hour.
Okay. All right. Austin is pulling up some pictures. I think we'll go over to him in just a second. But as I'm looking at another radar source here. Okay, and that is, Doug's getting some pictures, trying to effort getting these. So Uri and Sophia.
Uri and Sophia, LSUS, we've got.
Okay, so basically around LSUS. Looks like we had a tornado touchdown around the LSUS area and has done some damage there. We're not getting indications that there is something still on the ground at the moment, but I still want you folks here in the North Bossier area, particularly the vicinity of Swan Lake north of 220, to be in your shelter. Again, the radar is not updating for some reason, but this storm is still located in this portion of Bossier Parish. There, we finally got an update. So let's take a look. Okay, let's go over to Austin. I'm going to try and zoom in here. Austin, let's go through those latest photos that we've gotten in.
All right, so this is a video from near Roundtree Ford on Burt Coons, and it's going to be difficult for you to see. But right in the center here, we have debris getting lofted up into the air. We have tight rotation. You can see possibly the dropping of the cloud. And again, this is near Roundtree Ford on Burt Coons. This is sent in on our website. You can see that rotation right here. I'll let the video speak for itself. We can see the cloud touching the ground right behind that auto dealership. This is on Burt Coons in Shreveport. In the background, this was at least that brief tornado that touched down clearly on video that this person was able to get, lofting debris up in the air. And once we get, and this was clearly very powerful at the time because it's throwing debris very high up in the air. It's not very large debris, at least from what I can tell on the video, but you can see the cloud extending down into the ground behind that auto dealership, behind that Toyota dealership. We got some flashes, if you were able to see that, clearly going over some transformers or power lines. This is a very clear tornado that was on the ground, maybe in this video, and this video is a few minutes long. So I don't know if we're going to get the entire lifespan of it. It looks like it may be trying to lift at this point of the video. Still lots of debris, and quite honestly, the person shooting this should have been in their tornado safe space. The video is still showing that tornado on the ground, but it is beginning to weaken at this time. So that is a very telling video. What we were surprised with, and I'll try to get back on camera. We zoomed in very closely, but what we were surprised with this warning. shows a tornado that touched down in Shreveport, and what we're getting from Doug, some significant damage on Airline. This was taken on Burt Coons from Roundtree Ford again earlier, just a few minutes ago, and once we get confirmation or at least permission to use those pictures, we will get some of those pictures of that damage on air. Jeff?
All righty, thank you, Austin. I want to run through the other warnings. I know we've been focused on Shreveport because that was a confirmed tornado, and in fact, the warning did not come out until it was a confirmed tornado. So that is sometimes how quickly things can change. We have 3 tornado warnings ongoing right now in the Arklatex. McCurtain County, Oklahoma. We talked about this one, though, gave you the first alert that this would be a tornado warning for that portion of McCurtain County. We have also had a tornado warning issued for parts of Miller County in Arkansas. This does include the eastern edge of Texarkana. Warning goes for another 17 minutes. And again, our third warning does continue here for parts of Bossier Parish, working its way into maybe around Webster Parish. So from outside now of Bossier City, tracking towards Cotton Valley. That is our storm, one of 2. That we know at least one did produce a tornado in Shreveport. So let me show you the view here of all of these. We've got another cell that's developed here back over towards Houghton and Doyling. This one's lifting north. Gonna have to watch it. These storms are not tall. And that can sometimes cause some problems, especially close into the radar. These are not tall storms, so sometimes you have trouble seeing that rotation until something has touched down. So we are watching that. Our tornado warning does continue with mainly this storm southeast of Benton, but we're watching this one over Benton right now, as there were some indications of rotation with that. These are lifting off to the north and to the northeast, may get close to Cotton Valley, or perhaps stay here back more into Bossier Parish, tracking towards perhaps the Mott area and areas east of Plain Dealing. So I need you to be in your shelter there. Do want to get you up here outside of Texarkana. We do have another storm that has prompted a tornado warning. This one is not in Texarkana yet. Northwest of Fouke is where we are seeing some circulation associated with this one. And let me pull that up. This is showing up a little bit more definitive on radar than the storms that we have around Bossier Parish right now. Circulation showing up again back off to the northwest of Fouke. This storm is lifting to the north. It is going to be impacting parts of Texarkana, Arkansas. I think this will stay on the Arkansas side for Texarkana. So if you are on the Arkansas side here at Texarkana, head to your shelter for, again, the possibility this may do the exact same thing that apparently happened in Shreveport, a brief tornado touchdown and doing some damage. Let me take you up here in McCurtain County, Oklahoma as well, as we continue to track a storm here. A little difficult to pick out rotation. Again, this is far from the radar. But back here into parts of McCurtain County is where we have another tornado warned storm. Well, here's our circulation actually. It is showing up north of Wright City. It is outside of the Broken Bow area, but again, near perhaps Hochatown is where this one is going to track. There you can see where Broken Bow is. Hochatown not too far up the road, so this may pass north of Hochatown. But again, strong rotation showing up with this one. This is a much more powerful storm there in the northern part of the Arklatex. So let's kind of run through everything. This is our storm moving through McCurtain County, Oklahoma. This is a powerful one, probably generating some large hail as well. So if you are north of Broken Bow here along 259, it kind of snakes through the mountains, you need to be headed to your shelter if you're not there already. That is going to be crossing 259 very shortly. We take you down here into Miller County in Arkansas near Texarkana. We've got another storm lifting to the north. If you are on the Arkansas side of Texarkana, I need you to be in your shelter and points eastward. Circulation with this is going to be tracking, it looks like, across 49, across 71, 196, Highway 82, in the vicinity of Arkansas 237. So I need you in your shelter in these areas. And again, down here into northwest Louisiana, still the possibility that these storms may produce perhaps another brief tornado. The warning's been updated here, so the storm that went through Benton and is headed up towards Plain Dealing, that one appears less likely to produce a tornado than the one which moved through North Bossier around Swan Lake and 220. That one does have the potential still for perhaps producing a tornado. We're seeing that here in the wind shear product. Just outside of Benton, this is an indication of either rotating winds or strong straight line winds. The way this is shaped is telling me it's indicative of some rotating winds. So we're still picking that up. That is another indication of a tornado threat. Similar story outside of Texarkana. This is again approaching 49 just northwest of Fouke. Again, wind shear, which is an indication of some twisting wind, approaching 49. Again, this is going to be passing the east side of Texarkana, Arkansas. If you're back here, Texarkana, Texas, this is not tracking your way. This one's moving mostly to the north, maybe a little bit of a jog to the east. So this is going to brush by you folks in Texarkana, Arkansas. So I need you in your shelter here. And lastly, here is the wind shear being picked up just outside of Wright City, Oklahoma. This is passing north of you in Broken Bow. I think you folks in Hochatown, just up the road, this is going to pass a little north as well. But there's a lot up here, a lot of cabins near and outside of Hochatown. So along 259, I'd say north of Hochatown. If you are watching us right now, maybe renting one of these cabins and sheltering in place, I need you to get to a safe place in the cabin. That's going to be lowest level, interior part of the building that you're in there in McCurtain County for, again, the possibility of a tornado with this storm. So we've got really three things of concern going on in the Arklatex right now. Our storm in McCurtain County, we got our storm that's going to brush by Texarkana, and we've got our storm here showing up in Bossier Parish, where again we have, it appears we had a tornado touchdown in Shreveport. You know, sometimes they happen without warning, and I will say that was the case with this one. There were no indications on radar of any developing circulation until tornado touchdown. And sometimes, folks, it can happen that fast. And I think that's what we had happen here. These are not your classic deep, intense thunderstorms here in the Arklatex, except for this one, the one in McCurtain County. You can tell all those little white marks, those are lightning strikes. What we got moving through Texarkana and down here into Bossier Parish, there's really hardly any lightning associated with these. So they're not intense storms, but there's enough spin in the lower atmosphere that these have been able to tap into for these storms to rotate, and it appears in some cases have produced some tornado activity. So these are the three areas that we are continuing to watch. I know, Michael in the booth, you told me earlier we had a live picture with our storm tracker and Bubba. Is that still the case that we could go to? All right, let's go ahead and go to that. This will be a live picture. I think Bubba has arrived at some of the areas where we have damage. Is that correct? Okay, this is along Erie Drive in Sophia, where again we had a tornado touchdown. Again, this is in the LSUS area of Erie Drive. This is a live picture right now. Of course, you see the emergency vehicle lights flashing as they're checking out the damage that occurred here with a very sudden tornado that developed and touched down in this part of Shreveport. Doug.
May just be parked in a position where we can't see what's going. It seems all to be kind of left of our screen there, but from the pictures that have come in so far, I was messaging with somebody who just left that area. They said at least a half dozen building structures, maybe most of them businesses, damaged. I showed you one picture. It looked like the side of one business, the entire wall was missing. A gas station in that area damaged. This is Erie Drive right along LSUS. No word of any injuries at this time. You know, there are some residential neighborhoods just beyond that line of businesses that stretch along Erie Drive there in South Shreveport near the LSUS area. I mean, the videos are coming in all over. For this thing to touch down in such a populated area, now there's videos coming in everywhere. No doubt there was a tornado on the ground with this. We saw power flashes on some of these videos, a clear indicator that it was on the ground doing damage. Here's, speaking of, another video.
Here's the video that was in our inbox a few minutes ago.
Canebrake Apartments? Is that what I'm?
Yeah.
Tornado watch.
And so that may very well, can't really see the horizon due to that apartment building right there, but you get a sense right in that storm that there is a lowering with that. It seemed like a lot of folks had eyes on this. It's rare that we get one in such a heavily populated metro area like this where everybody can see what's going on.
You can see it's real. It was very subtle, but you can, I believe, could kind of see some of the power flashes. So this is clearly a good several miles away. Again, these things are tall, even if these storms aren't tall in terms of storm height. They are pretty high up in the air, and you saw the tornado clearly touch down on the horizon there. And it very well could have been in between radar scans. That's how quick that was. It dropped from the sky, touched down, caused mayhem, lifted within a 3-minute video, and the radar scans about every 5 minutes. I don't think they can go faster than that. So this is that, I believe that video that I was looking at earlier from Roundtree Fort, yes.
Yeah,
so
that's the same one.
Same video.
And you'll see as it continues to move to the left, which is north, basically, we're looking to the east here from Burt Coons, because you know Burt Coons makes that kind of turn to the right and connects with Uri. So at this point, Burt Coons and Uri are parallel. So you're looking over at Uri, and as it passes the Yoakum Toyota building in the background, you'll see, that's I think when you see the power flashes.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll see those in just a few moments. There's also a video on our website right now, if we can get that downloaded and put into the system from, I believe, taken from Uri, that shows the power flashes, which you can see right there just behind the building. It was very brief, very quick, but we have another video taken from Uri showing the tornado going over the transformers, knocking them out. And I believe how many thousands of people are without power right now? I'd gotten a notification from our News 12 app, but I have since lost said notification.
All right, yeah, as we continue to get video, and I'm trying to check some other information here, I don't want to lose track of you folks in McCurtain County. The Weather Service is continuing to hit that storm pretty hard about the potential for a considerable tornado there in McCurtain County. So I'm checking in here with some of the latest. Actually, there's a McCurtain County news and weather group that I follow, so I'm trying to check here to see what reports are there, but you know, they are concerned about, again, the possibility for a significant tornado out of this storm in McCurtain County. It is moving through a very rural part of McCurtain County, north of Idabel, north of Broken Bow, but nonetheless, if you are here, we'll say north of Broken Bow up towards Smithville, you need to be in your shelter for, again, possibility that there could be a considerable tornado, a significant one in this part of McCurtain County. This is the most intense storm of the day, but intensity does not necessarily equate to impact, as we see with, again, the storm that came through Shreveport produced a tornado. Produced a tornado in a very short period of time, touched down quickly and long enough to do some damage, but as Austin was mentioning, and because nothing was triggered radar-wise to tell us, hey, take a look at this storm, it may have developed, touched down, and lifted within the amount of time that it takes the radar to do a scan of the atmosphere. They can happen that quickly. Keeping an eye on Texarkana as well. Tornado warning does continue here, so again, if you are on the Arkansas side, in Texarkana, you need to stay and shelter in place for now. We are seeing less indications of rotation with this storm, but keep in mind, and as we've seen with some of these are not very tall storms. I've not checked to see what the heights on these storms are. It's possible the tops of these storms may only be 20 to maybe up to 30,000 feet. And once you get a certain distance away from the radar, which is located in Shreveport, radar may actually, even at its lowest scan, is going to start to look above the top of the storm. So just because we're not seeing indications still of circulation showing up here, that may be more of a factor of the distance from the radar at this point. So tornado warning does continue for you folks in Miller County, Arkansas. That does include the Texarkana, Arkansas area. It doesn't include you folks on the Texas side of Texarkana, but the Arkansas side, I need you to remain in your shelter. Again, we head down here into Bossier Parish. Again, nothing that's real definitive showing up rotation-wise, but we still have at least one storm here that does carry some potential of maybe producing a brief tornado. Again, you look at these storms on radar, they are not what we would call intense storms, but if you got the ingredients in play to produce severe weather and tornadoes, which we do, any storm that can come along and tap into that can produce a tornado, and it appears that that's what some of these have done. We are continuing to monitor the storm here. This is now outside of Benton. This is plain dealing right under here near the time. So this is moving its way off to the north and to the east. I know I mentioned Cotton Valley earlier. It does look like this storm will stay to the west of you in Cotton Valley. But if basically you live in Bossier Parish between plain dealing and Cotton Valley, I want you to head to your shelter just to be on the safe side. We're not seeing any imminent indications of a tornado out of this storm, but still that potential may remain as it continues to work its way off to the north and to the east. So again, we still have 3 storms that we are monitoring here in portions of the Arklatex. Let's see, the McCurtain County storm. Let me just pull up all the warnings. So the storm in McCurtain County, they've also added a severe thunderstorm warning. So it appears maybe that they're going to allow the tornado warning to expire. As the tornado warning expires here in McCurtain County at 6:30, it's just issued in yellow for this, basically overlapping this severe thunderstorm warning. And I know there have been eyes on this storm with storm chasers and storm trackers out there. So perhaps they're allowing the tornado warning to expire there in McCurtain County. Let me run through the other warnings. Our warning here that includes Miller County, also set to expire in just a minute. Not seeing indications as to whether that one's going to be extended or not. We did have an update here on that storm in Miller County from one of the storm chasers that is helping us out this afternoon. They did have a visual on the cell north of Fouke crossing 49. Not sure if a tornado touched down, but there was definitely a rotating wall cloud crossing 49 with some lowering as it passed to the east of his location. So this warning does go for a little bit longer. We'll wait and see if it's extended. I know at least visually on radar, it's not looking as concerning. Does look like they allowed it to expire. We'll see if it's reissued. Allowed the tornado warning for McCurtain County to expire. And it appears that the tornado warning for Bossier Parish has been allowed to expire as well. All right, since we don't have any active tornado warnings at the moment, we do have Stacy Cameron live with the damage area there in Southeast Shreveport around the LSUS campus. Let's go to him right now for an update.
Well, Jed, we're right off the intersection of Uri and Sophia Lane, where you can see several buildings here have been hit by what witnesses are describing to us as a very fast-moving tornado. You can see here, first building we're going to point out is the State Farm Insurance building. You can see the roof here on the side of the building destroyed, a wall brought down in. Then right next door to it is the laundromat. Now, I just spoke with the gentleman, David Langston, who said he was inside this building when the tornado hit. He said you could hear the wind pick up, and about 20 seconds later, it hit. There was a woman inside the laundromat with him who started to scream, he said, yelling, my babies, we got to get them out. They were inside this SUV right here where the sign came down. He said just as they started to hit the front door, he yelled at her, we can't go out. They stayed in, and then that sign came down. He said had they gone out, they would have been hit by the sign. When the tornado lifted and was gone about 30 seconds later, he said they ran out. They took 2 small children from the car, a 4-year-old girl and an infant boy. You can see another car here that was damaged. Ironically enough, this is my neighborhood, my home. About a quarter of a mile here, one of the young women in this car is my daughter, my new infant daughter's daycare teacher. You can see across the street then the Alero gas station also hit on the corner. You see several fire trucks, obviously, several first responders on the scene, Shreveport Police Department, Shreveport Fire Department firefighters, as well as Cattle Parish Sheriff's officers. And then finally up on the edge here of Sophia Lane, the bank was also hit. Now, I've spoken with several other witnesses who say there are homes damaged in the Village Green subdivision back by University Elementary. We haven't been able to get back there yet, but we can see from behind me, about a quarter mile behind me, what does appear to be some damage. We'll try to work our way back there later. Right now, Mr. Langston told me no one was hurt inside of the laundromat. We haven't been able to confirm if anyone was injured in any of the vehicles or building here. But we'll start to stretch out into this neighborhood here in Southeast Shreveport, see if we can see any more damage. Reporting live now in Shreveport, I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Stacy Cameron.
All right, thank you very much, Stacy, for that latest update there. Again, at least for the moment, a little bit of a lull out there. All the tornado warnings that had been in place are allowed to expire. Severe thunderstorm warning continues here for northern parts of McCurtain County in Oklahoma. Possibility for some large hail and some strong wind there, and maybe another tornado risk. But again, right now it appears the tornado risk has diminished. You do notice out to the west, there's a lot of color showing up there from Dallas back to the west to Austin, north of San Antonio. This is our line of storms that we expect to eventually settle into the Arklatex through the evening hours that may bring continued risk of some severe weather. Again, continue to get reports of video of that tornado in southeast Shreveport there near LSUS. So that one, I mean, sometimes I'll be honest, sometimes they get by you. We didn't see it. The Weather Service didn't see it. Warning didn't even come out until a tornado had already touched down, and at least it appears from the video, tornado developed rapidly, touched down briefly, but long enough to cause some damage, and then it appears it was gone. And it can happen, folks, sometimes that fast, and that is apparently what has transpired here in part of Shreveport earlier today. Let me show you the wide view on the radar and what we've got going on here. And we're in our news time now, so even though things have quieted down, we're going to stay with our coverage at least to the top of the hour, and hopefully we get a little bit of a lull, and I'll run you through the forecast again through the remainder of this evening. But here's what we got right now. South 20, there's nothing. So that's good news. That means the activity that we've got now, Bossier Parish, across parts of southwest Arkansas, still a little bit here in northeast Texas, and there in McCurtain County, Oklahoma, everything's lifting to the north. So we may get a little bit of a lull through the evening hours before all of this nastiness, and this isn't even showing the full picture of that, eventually arrives here into the Arklatex. But let me zoom in a little closer. We'll show you what we got. There's the latest scan update. So we got our two showers, or maybe some thunder with it. We've really not seen any lightning out of a lot of this activity, but near plain dealing to the east, plain dealing to the north. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this. Let me just take a look inside. We'll pull up the wind velocity. Nothing here in association with these that I'm particularly concerned about at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. Again, we've got some other showers, just a little bitty shower here in Bowie County, near Maud, near New Boston. These don't look like much of any concern. Our storm that passed through the east side of Texarkana, the Arkansas side, continued to lift north here along Interstate 30, stretching from Homan to Ogden over towards Fulton. Again, this is lifting north. Let me just take a quick look at the wind velocity here. See if we got anything. Nothing of any immediate concern showing up out of this, but we're going to continue to watch it. This one will be lifting towards you folks east of Ashdown up towards Tolette, maybe eventually Nashville, Arkansas, near Washington, Arkansas as well, especially just to your west is where this storm is going to be tracking. We do have another storm just outside of Hope, but probably the bulk of this is going to miss you just to the east as it moves off to the north into the northeast. We take you up into other parts of southwest Arkansas. Again, nothing of any concern here, scattering of some showers, Foreman to Ben Lomond to near DeQueen, Arkansas. Again, nothing that is alarming concern right now. This still does remain our most significant storm at the moment in McCurtain County. Possibly this did produce a tornado. I'm just trying to go back through some of the reports that came into the Weather Service that maybe there was a debris signature at some point on this storm, so it may have touched down something north of Wright City. This storm does continue here north of Broken Bow, tracking to near Smithville. Lots of lightning and lots of hail. Doug.
I'm still a part of that. We are a part of that McCurtain County Emergency Management page. I just asked them on that page, do y'all have any reports of damage? Are you responding to anything? They said no. So
okay.
That is the best of the best news you could possibly have, especially in such a rural area, kind of on the outskirts of our viewing area. But fortunately, that did not cause any damage west of Broken Bow, north of Broken Bow, or anywhere there.
Well, good. That is some great news. All right, so where do we go from here? Again, we've got these showers that have prompted tornado warnings, but it appears we've kind of dialed back, hopefully for at least a brief break, the tornado threat out of any of these. These are not the same beast that the storm in McCurtain County is, or the storms out to the west are. What we've had here that prompted tornado warnings in the Arklatex are, just to get into the weeds here meteorologically, they're what is referred to as mini supercells. I mentioned earlier these were small, so they were small, they were not very tall. But if the environment is supportive of rotation and tornadoes, even these small and short storms, and I hesitate to call them storms because they really didn't produce a lot of lightning, just because they weren't tall enough for that. But they can still tap into those ingredients and spin and produce tornadoes. And I think what we saw is what they did. They produced fast, quick developing tornadoes that did not last very long, briefly touched down in a few instances. I believe we had a touchdown near Kellyville in Marion County, Texas, and of course we've got all the video continue to come in of a tornado that obviously touched down in parts of southeast Shreveport in the vicinity of LSUS. But again, just briefly, the video that we're seeing, maybe it was on the ground for 30 seconds to a minute, and then it lifted and then quickly dissipated. This is what we're watching though for the remainder of this evening. This is a stout line of storms, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. It appears we even have some tornado warnings associated with this. I'm going to pull the lightning off. You'll get a better view here. These are coming through the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now and extending all the way into central Texas, down to the west of Austin, as well as San Antonio. And the expectation is that this line of storms is going to continue to come east and eventually reach the Arklatex a little bit later on this evening. Now the question remains, what sort of shape will this line of storms be in once it arrives in the Arklatex? And right now that's a question mark. Later timing, this is slowed down. Yesterday it looked like this line would maybe already be here almost into East Texas by around 7 or 8 in the evening. I don't think that's going to happen. Probably going to be closer to 9 or 10 now before it arrives in our East Texas counties, and later than that before it sweeps across much of southwest Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana. So we still have a ways to go with this line of storms as it comes on through. Let me take you through a couple scenarios here as to how this may progress. I think this is a fairly good depiction, again showing south 20, there's not much. North of 20, especially up towards I-30, a little concentration of some showers here. And there's our big line of storms bearing down on the Dallas-Fort Worth area and kind of sitting out just to the west of the I-35 corridor there in central Texas. So let me move this forward to 9 o'clock this evening. At least the data is suggesting the line's pretty solid now, not any breaks in it. Data is suggesting line may break a little bit as it gets closer to us. That could lower the severe weather threat once it arrives here. Here at 11 o'clock this evening, still showing kind of a line. It's kind of broken up, but still maybe some intense storms, a possibility, just maybe not widespread as it had originally looked, that we were going to see maybe widespread strong and severe thunderstorms coming through. Maybe the threat will be a little bit more isolated now just based on what Future Track is telling us. And we forecast, we kind of look at the trend. What is the trend? And the trend is now that this line kind of breaks up, but doesn't necessarily mean that we won't see an additional threat for severe weather. But again, what's it telling us? Here we're at 1 o'clock in the morning. Line continues to break up. May still have an isolated stronger storm, so won't rule that out. But again, the trend has been that maybe this line falls apart as it moves through the Arklatex, and we're hoping that that will be the case. But as it is, the threat for severe weather remains. The tornado watch has been updated, goes until midnight, I-20 northward, so we're going to have to watch. I think we are going to get perhaps a little bit of a lull coming up here as we take you through the next few hours. Austin, are you ready? Okay, let's go on over to Austin. We continue to get pictures. We really appreciate that. Helps us tell the weather story, helps us tell you how things have come together and what could be coming. But let's go on over and take a look at some of those other photos and videos that you all have sent in to us. Austin.
Thank you, Jeff. So this video was sent in about an hour ago, but we haven't showed it to you yet, and I'm going to discuss some power outage information in just a moment. It's a real quick video, and I'll show it a couple times. This is taken from Uri Drive, and you can see the tornado moving over power lines, blowing out transformers. You saw that right there, right in the center of the video. I'll play it again. And I've lost it for whatever reason, but we'll just go. Moving on to SWEPCO outage map. In Caddo Parish, there are 8,210 customers without power as of right now because for obvious reasons. For that tornado moving over and causing power lines to be either broken, brought down, or for any reason associated with that. We have more pictures of the tornado from Burt Coons. And for whatever reason, I have lost that video, but you saw it, hopefully, taken from Uri Drive of the tornado moving over and blowing up transformers. Here it is again. Right in the center of the video here, you're going to see that. Those power flashes. Transformers having the lines ripped out of them, or the poles snapping, and then it automatically continues with the next video. Again, over 8,000 folks in Caddo Parish without power. Bossier Parish is not bad. Neither is Cass County. It is really focused on Caddo Parish because of that tornado that moved over portions of Uri Drive in Shreveport, taking out multiple power lines and causing quite a bit of significant damage in that vicinity. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you very much, Austin. And continue to keep an eye on the severe weather potential as we work our way through the evening hours. Again, there's your tornado watch. There may be additional watches that come out. We'll have to wait and see. It's all going to depend on this line back to the west and really how it materializes and holds together as it gets a little bit closer to the Arklatex through the evening hours. Like I said, I think we're just going to stay on until 7. We're in our news time as well. And that will, I think, just make things easier than try to recoup here the last 14 minutes or so of the half hour. Again, here's the latest on what we've got going on. Fortunately, the storms have lost, I think, their potential to produce additional severe weather. Kind of fading a little bit, but still producing some rain there along I-30 in southwest Arkansas. The two storms that prompted some tornado warnings, and the one which dropped the tornado briefly in Shreveport, those continue to fizzle as they near the state line heading from Bossier Parish on into Arkansas. And again, we still have a strong thunderstorm showing up in northern parts of the Arklatex in McCurtain County. This one, severe thunderstorm warning. Large hail probably showing up with this. In fact, we can check that out. I'm still seeing a hail signature showing up just to the south of Smithville. But even this storm, I think, is kind of losing a little bit of a punch. We can take a look at how the hail is tracked through McCurtain County. Back here, as it moved out of the Fort Townsend, Oklahoma area into McCurtain County, it was most intense. Producing some larger hail, getting into the blue here, but as it's tracked its way deeper into McCurtain County, at least the hail potential has diminished, and that's probably also why the tornado potential has diminished as well. Want to take a look at a few other things here, and again, wind shear product, that's something that we look at. We're still seeing a little bit of that here. This is more indicative of maybe some strong gusty wind associated with this storm in McCurtain County. But as I take a look here across other parts of the Arklatex, And sometimes we forget about using this product, and it can be a useful one because it maybe will detect some wind shear in the atmosphere that maybe when we look at the wind velocity we don't necessarily see when we're just looking at one slice of the atmosphere. So this is looking at multiple depths of the atmosphere to pick up wind shear. Notice we're not seeing anything around Texarkana. We're not seeing anything showing up there on the state line with what is left of the storms that came through Shreveport and Bossier City. But what we can do is we can go back and we can look at where the wind shear was over time. So I want to this is going to be a recap. This often tells us where we need to go look for damage after severe weather has come through. And this is going to show us what we have been tracking here for the last several hours here in the Arklatex. We'll start you into East Texas. We had some tornado warnings here that started in Harrison County, and those storms with time moved into Marion County. And we do believe we had a tornado touchdown here outside of Jefferson, Texas, near Kellyville. Reports of some damage there. Our other storm, one that tracked through and eventually made it into Cass County, there was never actually a warning on that storm, but nonetheless, radar was tracking it. And we were, for a little bit of time, we were monitoring some storms in DeSoto Parish, weren't seeing any discernible signs of rotation in the lowest levels of those storms, but the wind shear did pick up on that a little bit with this activity that moved through Grand Cane, eventually through the Stonewall area near Frierson, if you know where the Frierson exit is there on I-49. And as we move this forward in time, this is what ended up coming through Shreveport. And there you see the wind shear product. This is around 5:33. There you saw it update. So across from DeSoto into Caddo Parish, again, that's around 5:34. And Doug or Austin, when were the reports of the tornado? Was it just after 6 or close to 6, I believe?
You're talking about here in the...
Yeah, in the Shreveport area, just before 6.
Yeah, give me 5 seconds. I give you an exact.
So here
I
we
think
are.
it was right before the 6 o'clock hour.
This is right before 6. And here's the wind shear product. It's nothing that really screams, hey, you got a tornado on the ground, because when you have something a little more significant, then it goes up the color scale from the light blue maybe into the purple. We stayed down here at the lowest level of the wind shear, but it was definitely there showing up. And again, this would have been moving through near Uri Drive. That's LA1. It's the Uri Drive area. And you can see Kings Highway here where it intersects with Burt Coons. And again, that's where we had some damage and had the video. So again, near LSUS. Let me zoom out here.
LSUS, the storm report that pops up on the radar and on National Weather Service chat says 5:37.
Okay, so then this is about the right time. Let me back it up here and show you exactly when this hit. And again, this is a product that's kind of calculated after the radar has gone through all its scans. So it's usually a few minutes behind where things may actually have occurred. So this is at 5:43 when this product was generated. But again, that's where it came across Uri Drive there. And this is, if you're familiar with this is 3132 where it ends here at Florney Lucas. Near Florney Lucas and Uri, again, showing that indication of some wind shear in the atmosphere. And then that did continue to progress there near Uri Drive, Kings and Burt Coons, and then eventually that crossed over the Red River into Bossier Parish and then kind of fizzled. So let's take you forward here and we'll show you. There, it fizzled. So whatever happened between Florney Lucas and near Burt Coons, just off of Uri, and then it crossed the Red River over to Bossier and it died. So it was real quick.
And on that
okay.
storm, we were talking. The way it was powerful enough to really toss some things around. There was a piece of metal from that gas station, part of its sign, on Uri Drive by LSUS. And if anybody knows where Dixie Gardens is, that's kind of over by toward the Jimmy Davis Bridge. That's at least a mile or so. So a huge piece of a sign from that Valero gas station, I believe that was the one that was hit near LSUS, ended up way over at the fire station in Dixie Inn. So it carried it quite some way up into to the air before it came back down again. Traveled, that's at least a good mile, if not a couple of miles.
Yeah, it was quick developing, quick touchdown, did damage, and then was gone. We are going to head out now to Bisky Duncan. She is actually with some campus leaders there at LSUS, talking to them about the damage that occurred there in and around the campus. We'll go on and head out to her now. Bisky.
Okay, so we are actually on LSUS's campus right now. We are here with Chancellor Larry Clark. Let's talk a little bit about some of the storm damage. We've got lots going on behind us right now.
Yes, so fortunately the good news is there's no one that we're aware of who's been injured or hurt through this tornado that's come through. That's the good news. We got to get that out front. And the damage is not significant damage. You can see the wind was significant. There's a trailer behind us, two of them actually down, that we had stored with materials. Last tornado that came through almost the exact same place moved those trailers 7 inches. The trailers behind us have moved completely up in the air and beyond where they were parked in this parking area here to the adjacent area over there. So there was quite a bit of force. We are without power on the south side of campus. We had a Boy Scout event that was going on tonight. They have disbanded, to gone home. They're safe. We had a parents' night for new freshmen for this coming fall. That was in our cyber collaboratory. They have gone home. None of them have been injured or hurt. And so the good news, again, is about people, and we're okay with people, but we are assessing with what the power impact will be, and for classes for tomorrow. We believe there will be, but again, we're assessing as we're going, so it's still too early.
Okay, I understand completely. Thank you so much, and just keep us in the loop as we get through home.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. Again, there was a confirmed tornado that touched down on Uri and Sophia. They are working that area right now. We will send you more updates. Make sure that you have that KSLA News 12 app ready, and make sure to have the KSLA First Alert weather app handy as well. Reporting in Shreveport, Bisky Duncan, KSLA News 12.
All righty, thank you very much, Bisky, for that report. We are getting some reports as well out of Miller County, Arkansas. Some house damage, Miller County Road 1. Some people were entrapped there for a bit. We've got another report, Miller County Road 152. And also another report, Miller County, Arkansas, the 1700 block of Miller County Road 1, people entrapped in their house there. So some reports out of Miller County, Arkansas, again outside of the Texarkana area. So we may perhaps have had a tornado that touched down and has done some damage there as well. We'll get our newsroom working on that. Okay, Doddridge, Arkansas, some trees down on Miller County, what was that, 152. Okay, that was also a spot where we had a report of some entrapment in a house there, although the occupants are now out. But again, Miller County 152 near, so this is going to be near Doddridge. So we may get our reporter, Fred Gamble, who works out of the Texarkana area, maybe get him up there out to that area in Miller County to check on the damage there from what perhaps was a tornado touchdown in that part of the Arklatex as well. Let's kind of recap here, and y'all can just continue to count me down in my ear as far as when we are towards the end of the half hour. I see no reason at the moment why we're going to stay on over programming, CBS programming, at least to start here this evening. I can't promise that we won't have to come back on later into the evening for some additional severe weather. But let me just kind of recap what we've got going on here. Continue to monitor some storms in the northern portion of the Arklatex, McCurtain County, Oklahoma. This storm is exiting. Severe thunderstorm warning associated with that. We still have some heavier downpours showing up here north of I-30, moving into parts of Howard County and also into Hempstead County. These are lifting north towards you folks in Nashville, Arkansas. Just a quick look here, make sure nothing is rotating out of that. So I'll zoom in and we will pull up the wind velocity, and I don't see anything rotation-wise showing up here. So hopefully that will continue to be the case. We'll take you back closer to the state line. Again, this is what's left of the storms that came through Bossier City and Shreveport from Spring Hill to Walker Creek. Nothing that looks particularly ominous to me out of this, but let's take a quick look. And I don't see anything here that catches my eye that anything is rotating that would prompt any sort of tornado warnings. And then that's pretty much it. We head south to I-20, pretty quiet, couple showers, maybe just south of Toledo Bend may lift in here, but nothing that is of any concern at the moment. And then we got this. We still have this to go, folks. This is a stout line of storms. In fact, severe weather possible along this entire line. All the yellow shaded areas, those are counties in northern and central Texas under severe thunderstorm warnings. Basically this entire line under severe thunderstorm warning, and areas actually east Dallas, there's a tornado warning in effect for that part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. This is all tracking east. It is going to arrive in the Arklatex a little bit later on this evening. Remains to be seen if this will bring severe weather with it as it is producing now. That is a question mark, but it does remain a possibility. We are going to continue to monitor the storms through the evening hours. Look for updates on the KSLA First Alert weather app. You can keep up with this line of storms on the app as well. And unless we need to break into programming for something that does pop up this evening, we will have another full update on the weather situation and what we expect heading into tonight coming up on KSLA News 12 at 10. For meteorologist Austin Evans and Doug Warner, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle. We'll see you again tonight at 10, if not sooner.
When weather gets dangerous, we send the first alert.
A final tribute to a life well lived, given with the highest level of concierge service. The team at Shreveport Funeral Home will take care of everything, from the service all the way down to the flowers and programs. We know the importance of your decision. It's why we thank you sincerely for your trust. And keep that trust in mind in every detail. That's how we hear the phrase so often, wow, mama looks good. Shreveport Funeral Home, serving with more than 92 years of experience.
Westlaw Federal Credit Union wants to be with you for all of life's big moments. Whether it's getting a joint checking account, finding a home, upgrading your car, or saving for college, Westlaw Federal Credit Union is invested in this community, which means we're invested in you. Become a member of Westlaw Federal Credit Union. We want to be with you for all of life's big moments.
Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Staying on budget starts with having control over your money. Meet the NetSpend Prepaid Visa Card. There's no minimum balance, no late fees, and no interest fees, because this is not a credit card. NetSpend has earned a great rating on Trustpilot. Terry loves getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Teddy loves the way it tracks his spending. This is control. This is NetSpend. Pick up your card at participating Family Dollar stores today.
I'm Insurance Commissioner Jim Donlin, asking Louisiana seniors to call us before making changes to your Medicare plan. Calling a number you saw on TV promising discounts and benefits may switch your plan to one that's not right for you. Instead, call the Louisiana Senior Health Insurance Program. We make sure your doctors and medications are covered, and we check to see if you qualify for help with Medicare cost. Contact us at 1-800-259-5300.
Due to demand, your current vehicle has never been worth more to us at Holmes Honda Bossier City and Holmes Honda in Shreveport, the #1 dealer in Shreveport, Bossier City. We're buying all makes and models for top dollar. In a few minutes and a couple of clicks, you can get an instant cash offer with our Easy Pass. You've seen how easy it is to buy from us. Let us buy your current car from you. Get your Easy Pass offer before values drop. Holmes Honda, making it easy.
About Mom and Pastor Rob.
Oh, remember today is Sheldon's big database lunch party, so we're all very excited.
Yeah, how excited are we talking? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I don't know, 6?
Do we have any understanding of what this data thing is?
Not a clue. Morning, Shelley.
Hey, there's a big guy.
That was about an hour.
Can I get you breakfast?
I don't know if I can eat. I'm too excited.
I know, we all are.
What's going on?
It's your brother's big day.
When isn't it?
Mima, are you coming to my party?
I wouldn't miss it.
Oh, we're going to leave at 4 if you want to ride with us.
I'll have to meet you there. I got a little business I have to take care of.
Oh, if you're getting me a gift, it's not that kind of party. Although, I wouldn't say no to a TI-81 graphing calculator.
So what all's going to happen at this party?
Well, we're going to post to Usenet that the database is live and then watch the monitor as the subscribers roll in.
And you're calling that a party? Bold.
Nobody else is stronger than I am. Yesterday I moved a mountain. I bet I could be your hero. I am a mighty little man.
We still haven't settled on a name.
Well, I was thinking maybe Alice.
Alice Cooper. That is badass. Sold.
Wait, who said her last name's gonna be Cooper?
Well, that's my last name.
Yeah, and mine's McAllister.
Yeah, but I'm the dad.
So?
I think that's just the rule.
Not my rule.
Well, all right, let's not fight about it. I'm pretty sure she can hear us.
Yeah, you're probably right. Please don't have a giant head. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, you make a whole human being in your belly, I get the crib and car seat, we'll call it even.
It's not even close to even.
Well, I'm just saying my list is pretty long and you only got the one thing.
Hey. Hey, I didn't know you were working today.
No, I'm not. Just stopped by to pick up my check.
Got it right here. Any plans for your day off?
Nothing special.